Crowds expected for the prince's funeral on Saturday. The plan now will move Diana's coffin from St. James Palace to her home at Kensington Palace on Friday night, adding more than 2 miles to the funeral procession. There are reports that Diana's eldest son, Prince William, insists on walking the entire procession route behind his mother's casket. Reports also say there's conflict over whether musician Elton John, who has been invited to the funeral, will be asked to sing. In the meantime, here in the States, the U.S. House will vote tomorrow on a resolution honoring Princess Diana.
And I think across the world, people have been drawn together in a sense of grief and sadness at this absolutely unnecessary tragedy.
In France, investigators continue to look into whether the driver of the princess's car was drunk and speeding, and they continue to investigate the role of 7 paparazzi accused of chasing the princess's car at the time of the fatal crash. While the details of Princess Diana's death unfold, many people continue to pause to remember how she lived. Lord Wedgwood is a British citizen who also has a home here in Philadelphia. For generations, his family is known as makers of fine china. As a member of the House of Lords, he met Princess Diana several times in England. He said the level of concern on her part was remarkable.
She always showed concern. And it wasn't just concern for you. It was concern for people on either side of you, which was one of the lovely things about her.
Lord Wedgwood said he believes that concern and caring has endeared her to so many people and will keep her memory alive for a very long time. Princess Diana was remembered in Delaware County today. The pastor at the Middletown Presbyterian Church is Scottish, and he felt it appropriate to hold a special service in Elwyn to pay tribute to the Princess of Wales. The pipes and drum of the Delaware Valley helped provide British dignity to the service today in Delaware County.
The death of Diana actually delayed the birth of a child. Monica Malpass has this unusual story tonight from England.
If there's any problems, you can just give us a call.
It's a madhouse inside this florist shop at 27 Kensington High Street. Mourners are scooping up every bouquet in the narrow store. They pick red roses, Bluebee delphinium, or any white flower, Princess Diana's favorite. Flowers, in fact, are now being shipped from as far away as Thailand, South Africa, and Israel. Most folks spend a modest sum, 1.5 pounds to 5 pounds. Others order elaborate arrangements by phone, one from as far away as Hawaii. In fact, extra staffers have been pressed into service. They're working 18-hour days starting at 6 a.m.
To arrange to find a wholesaler, drive up to him, buy their flowers and wait for the other ones to be ready. Go back here, get them cleaned and ready to go into the shop.
Owner Rana Shad rescheduled a cesarean section to help with the overflow of clients. She says it's the least she can do.
I think it is sad because, she was obviously young and she was about to find happiness. So you just feel for her.
The shop will close Saturday out of respect for Diana. Rana and her staffers plan to create their own arrangement for the funeral.
It is a sort of kind of appreciation.
Maureen Hamilton and Mayor Seaborn spent their last 10 pounds on bus fare and a single red rose each for the Princess of Wales.
Everybody loved her. It's just so sad what happened. She was happy at us. It's just something inside you've got to do. There'll never be another one like Diana.
And that flower shop isn't unique. Florists all over London are spending long days and nights to supply these bouquets. In fact, there's one story that a person walked into a flower shop and bought every single flower in the place. Monica Malpass, Channel 6 Action News, London.
That's the very...
Apparently reacting to criticism about her remoteness, the Queen will deliver a broadcast address to the nation tomorrow. Elizabeth emerged today for the first time since last Sunday with Prince Philip, Prince Charles, and both William and Harry. They emerged from 4 days of seclusion in Balmoral, Scotland, to go to church. The royal family then stopped to examine cards and flowers left by mourners, and clearly it was a poignant scene to see William and Harry reading the words of grief from their countrymen over the death of their mother. Officials continue to make plans for Diana's funeral. The funeral procession will take this route from Kensington Palace, where Diana's body now lies, to Westminster Abbey. 22,000 police officers will be on duty to handle the biggest crowd to assemble in London in decades. They expect 3 to 4 million people to line this route. Action News is in London tonight. Monica Malpass says an entire country is preparing to show its grief and love for its princess.
I'm Monica Melpass in Soho, one of London's chicest neighborhoods, where Diana's death is still a topic of conversation tonight. More details have been released now about her funeral Saturday. Prime Minister Tony Blair will read the Bible, Diana's brother and 2 sisters will speak, and the Westminster Abbey bell will toll every minute during the funeral procession. That procession will leave Kensington Palace at 9 a.m. Saturday and wind through the streets of London for 2 hours. The royal family will be seated at Westminster Abbey just moments before the coffin arrives. Queen Elizabeth's spokesman made a rare statement today to answer harsh criticism by British media that there's been no public comment on Diana's death.
As their grandmother, the Queen is helping the princes to come to terms with their loss as they prepare themselves for the public ordeal of mourning their mother with the nation on Saturday.
The Queen also appeased her subjects by looking at the flowers outside Balmoral Castle in Scotland today with Princes Charles, William and Harry.
Got a book, the newspaper.
Campers are already staking out spots along the 1-mile funeral route. They want to be front and center before London gets jammed with the expected 2 to 6 million people Saturday.
I believe she's worth it. She was one of us, one of the people.
A busload of American students living in England is also coming to the funeral. I met with the students at their American community school southwest of London today.
It really upset me. She just, everything she did was unselfish, and she did it for somebody else.
First Lady Hillary Clinton is coming to Saturday's funeral, as is South African President Nelson Mandela and singer George Michael, among others. Back in Soho now, and it has been confirmed tonight, Elton John will sing at Diana's funeral Saturday. He's rewriting his song Candle in the Wind, originally a tribute to Marilyn Monroe. Now it will be re-scripted, especially for the princess. Monica Melpass, Channel 6 Action News, London.
And in fact, Elton John was very close friends with Diana. The last time we saw the two of them together, John was being consoled by Diana at the funeral of Gianni Versace. Now the legendary singer will be trying to console a country when he sings at Diana's funeral. Barbara Walters talked to Elton John today, and John reflected on his friend, the princess.
She would have, no idea how much people loved her. It's a shame that she couldn't have known that in her lifetime. But I think of her as someone who was desperately searching for love.
The entire interview with Elton John will be broadcast tomorrow night on 2020. ABC will begin its live funeral